Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. So in this video, I want to talk about the boy called Amos. So let me firstly tell you who Joseph is. So Joseph was a houseboy that lived with Suleman for around 10 years, right? I know some people have in the past, they don't use the word houseboy, say domestic staff or this and that. Please guys, permit me to use the word houseboy, because you see, when you sugarcoat the word or you try to, look for posh things to call it, I think that takes away from the fact that typically it's a job for the nobodies in society, the children of the poor. It is not a job. You see, when you begin to call it all those posh things, it will sound as if it's something, for university graduates. And, it is a job for typically children of poor people who their parents, for whatever reason, cannot afford to raise their own children. They allow their children to live with a rich person so that the children can benefit from the rich person because of their poverty. For anyone that does not know, you're coming across this, you're not Nigerian or you're not from a culture where this happens, it's not a job for children of fathers and mothers that are well-to-do. It's not even a job for average families. It's the job for the lowest of the lowest in society. Because most parents will be sending their children to school by themselves, feeding their own children. But it's always the poorest of the poor and the nobodies in society that end up doing this job. So let me please call it a houseboy job so that we actually get a full picture. So going back to who Joseph is. So Joseph was with Suleman, who they also call an apostle, or who likes to go by the word apostle, which is a preacher, a pastor, right? And, he lived with Suleman for a long time. And what then happened from his story, right? This is the story that Joseph shared himself. So he said that he brought the girl he was planning to marry to his papa. That's what they call him. They call him papa, right? Okay. And then introduced him to this papa, right? And according to him, now I'm not too sure now whether he said that Suleman climbed this girl or Suleman tried to climb this girl. I can't remember exactly. For those of you that know, you can remind us exactly what he said in the comment section. But it's something around that line. And that really broke his heart because he loved his papa and he didn't joke with his papa. He said in the past, when people used to say things about his papa, he would fight anyone that said anything about his papa. But all the rumors and everything, he never really took them seriously until it came to the woman that he chose to marry. And he said, but this one girl that he wanted to marry, and that broke his heart, right? Now, and he talked about, please listen, I want you to get a picture of this guy, who he is, before I say what the rest of what I want to say. So this guy said, he began to lose respect for his papa. He began to see the whole church thing differently. He said he was active in the choir, in the this, in the that, in whatever. He was everywhere. And he lost interest because he was like, okay, this whole thing is a joke because of his own experience. He was like, and he mentioned that he would sit, there was an interview that was granted, then that he was saying all of that. And he was talking about how he said he wasn't playing any part in the choir and all of those things. He said he would go to the, they have a top level in the church where, when some of these church buildings will have an upper level. And he said he used to go there. And he said when this happened, he began to look at his papa, their man of God, and he began to see him differently. He said he would come to church, he wouldn't join the choir and everything. He would stay at that top level of the church. And he's looking at them and everybody is praying or do whatever. He used to look at them and be like, if only these people knew what he knew. And everything became like a joke to him. When he began to change towards his papa and was no longer active in church and everything, he still could not tell his mother, because he said his mother was very active in the church. His mother was a worker in the church or something like that, but she was very active in the church. And she was one of the, those that adored the papa. He couldn't tell his mother, right? Now, when the whole thing was going, whatever was going on, and the mother noticed the change in his behavior, the mother couldn't tell what it was. Long story short, there was a day and the whole family and everything. And according to him, he said that probably because Suleman was worried that he may end up telling what had happened, that Suleman, I'm narrating his story, right? That Suleman then told his mother if I'm not mistaken, that he stole from him. And his mother came and his mother was crying. And he said his mother was rolling on the ground. This guy apparently has been trying to contact me for a long time. For anyone that does not know, I gave up on replying to my emails because I was getting too many emails. At a point, I completely gave up because the more you reply to people, the more emails you got. And I didn't want that to eat into my daily life. I like when I'm done with my videos, whatever, I'm gone. But staying and replying to messages or whatever, if you're not careful, internet, content creation, and social media can eat into your private life. Got to a point I couldn't cope, so I wasn't replying to it. And he said he had emailed me for a long time, but I never replied. I'm sorry to any of you that have been sending me messages and don't reply. But anyways, finally he was able to, he was able to get hold of me. He added me on Facebook and he was able to contact me. And then he rang me and he spoke. I want to give you guys a picture of this guy, right? And of all the things he shared, the time that I noticed that I could tell from his voice that he was hurting. I could tell from his voice, the tone changed, and I could feel his pain from his voice. He said when the mother came, because he said the mother didn't have a clue what was going on, and he didn't tell his mother. The mother was crying, and the mother was rolling on the ground and begging Suleman on his behalf. And he said that is a picture that would never leave him. That is an image he would never forget. And now his mother is dead, and that haunts him till today. His mother never got to know the truth. And his mother had to come and roll on the ground to beg Suleman for something her son never did. His mother, went to the grave without knowing the truth. Those are the things that hurt him the most. The image of his mother rolling on the ground to beg Suleman. Okay. Coming back to this other aspect that he shared with me. He's told me how he decided he just gave up. Like, his mother wasn't going to know the truth, and he just wanted to walk away from it all and just start his life afresh. This guy went from Edo State and went all the way to Abuja. He knew nobody. He went with only one bag. He knew nobody, went to Abuja, didn't know anybody. He was on the streets of Abuja. He said when he got to Abuja, he saw a canteen. He went to that canteen and he told the woman, do you need somebody to work for you? He was ready to wash plates or whatever. And the day he got to Abuja, and this woman said, oh yeah, you can wash the plates and all of that. He started doing that job of washing plates. That job of washing plates was what he was doing for a long time. When the canteen closes, he will sleep outside. He will pretend like he's going home. They didn't know he didn't have a home. When they close, he will sleep outside on the street. In the morning, they will come there and say that he has resumed before everybody. This is making me emotional. He didn't know that this guy didn't have a home in Abuja. From there, he said there was a barbing salon where they cut men's hair nearby. Somehow he was able to kind of befriend them, and before you knew it, he was working in the barbing salon. The same thing. He actually confided in this man and told the man and said, I do actually not have a house. Can I be sleeping here at night? And the guy said, sorry, you can't sleep in my salon when it's closed. There was one night, for you guys to know what this guy has been through. One night, he said he was sleeping outside. He used to put cardboard boxes on the ground and sleep there. He was sleeping at night, and he said the police were chasing armed robbers. And they chased them past him. That was a massive wake-up call for him, because he said if they had found him, like they saw him, like they may think he's the armed robber. What is he going to explain? His family didn't know where he was. He had nobody in Abuja. He had nothing. And it dawned on him how dangerous it was for him to be sleeping outside. Mosquito bites and everything. It's a long story how eventually he found his way to Dubai. Okay? So that's the picture of this guy and the sufferings of his life. When they were with Suleman, he was paying them 7,000 naira as a monthly salary, according to him, and his brother as well, right? Okay, now, his younger brother, who is Amos, has come up and explained or exposed a lot of things that he has said, happened in Suleman's house. He's bringing out receipts. It's another story altogether. His younger brother has done a lot because he had access to Suleman. According to him, Suleman's phones and everything, he had downloaded text messages, audio recordings, and everything. That is, his brother has been doing that. That Amos that was living in Dubai went to Nigeria. So people are like, where did you go fight for Nigeria? What did you go to Nigeria to look for? Nigeria is his country. There's no reason why he should be afraid of going back to his own country. Let's be honest. Suleman is not even the president of Nigeria. People can talk about Buhari. And they wake up the next day, they go to Nigeria, come back. And they live in Nigeria freely. And one man in Auchi, because of him, Joseph should not go back to his own country. But it still shows you how, if somebody like Suleman was the president of the country, all members of the press will be in jail by now. If Suleman was the president of the country, can you imagine what the country would be like? Suleman, do you know how many people have been arrested by Suleman? People that are terrified of Suleman, one man in one bush in Auchi. This boy went to Nigeria recently and now they picked him up. He has been arrested and the news is going round. He's arrested and he's held. For what reason? You know, I tell you guys, if you don't understand the corruption of Nigeria, sit in your house. Suleman is in Auchi and this boy was arrested in Abuja. Try it. Try to arrest somebody from wherever and find out if it's possible. And then you realize what is required to be able to do what Suleman is doing. This is supposed to be a man of God, right? He has arrested this boy and right now he's held by this guy. And in my opinion, I feel like, what is this worst he's going to do? He already has him. And this boy is in custody. Get him deleted? Get him exterminated? And then, is that really what he's going to do? You know, there was an elderly woman that said, when this kidnapping thing became, you know, in Nigeria that's been going on, this elderly woman told her family, she said, if she ever gets kidnapped, she said, don't pay any money for ransom. She said, there's no point. She said, save the money for my burial. Right? I'm saying to myself, since Suleman has decided to become the Idi Amin of Nigeria, he has decided to become someone that terrorizes people. You know why I don't blame him? Because I blame the country we call Nigeria. Because no sane society will allow Suleman to be able to do a lot of the things he has been accused of doing. There's no sane society where that would happen. If you have a case with somebody, you go to court. If the court finds the person guilty, then the person can be picked up. But Suleman has the powers to be able to pick somebody up and get the person locked up. I have come to the point where, I'm being honest, I feel like they should let him do his worst. If he wants to delete him, let him delete Joseph. Cut up his meat, share it in pieces, and give us our own portion. Let him do his worst. I'm being honest. What does he want to do? Let him delete him, cut up his meat, and distribute it like a national cake. I wish his family can tell him, you know, go ahead and do what you want to do. We prepare for his funeral. Because the Nigerian terrible, corrupt society allows you to do whatever you want to do and get away with it. They should tell him, you know what, we're actually making his funeral arrangements and everything. When you're done, give us the body to go bury. What is his worst that he wants to do? When one man can decide to be terrorizing people. You know, I've gone past, you know, the area of trying to speak to his conscience. You speak to the conscience of someone that has a conscience. And you know what? Another thing that surprises me, you know, because some people now you say, okay, heaven or hell or whatever. You may say you don't believe in heaven or hell. Let's leave that. Because let me tell you, I do not believe if somebody like Suleman believes in hell, that he would do a lot of the things that he's been accused of doing. I do not believe that. And he's not someone you speak to his conscience. Because like I said, he's someone that has a conscience, that you can speak to their conscience. But I've come to realize that not all of us think that way. You know, but the truth is this. You know, we all forget that we're some people's ancestors. So when his generation to come, when they finally come and they open the internet to find out about Suleman, what are they going to find out about him? This man is someone's ancestor. What would they find out about him? The picture about him, he's always in the news. Always in the news. Mostly negative things, left, right, and center. Even if somebody cannot have shame for himself, what about shame for your descendants? That they would look at the internet tomorrow and say, who was our 444 father? This video I'm making, I've never done this before, but I'm being honest. When I'm finished with this video, I'm going to send it as an email. I will attach it as an email and I will send it to the Oyedepos and their Deboyes and whatever. Whether they see it or not, that's their cup of tea. But I will send it. Not for anything else, but for them to, in case they don't know, for them to know who he is. We know not too long ago, Adeboye that promised to come to his church turned around because Suleman went viral for something. Apparently, Adeboye was not interested in being associated with. He moved back. I know that the other people have their own stories here and there, but we don't hear. How many people has Adeboye and Oyedepo arrested? How many have you heard? We know we can talk about other aspects. How many of them have the kind of name that Suleman has? How many of them have been accused of the things that Suleman have been accused of? This is the kind of video. I mean it. I'm going to send this video for them to have a look. And this is what people call pastor. And some people still go to that church. I told somebody once, I said, forget the fact that people still go to that church, but look at the caliber of people that still go there. The reports on this man are not positive. Him alone, people have spoken about Buhari, the president of the country. People have done a lot of posts and videos and everything about Buhari. And they can still walk the streets of Nigeria freely. And then one man in Auchi, he terrorized YouTubers from left, right, and center. He has gone through, he has done so much. He has tried his best to intimidate YouTubers. Press, anybody that speaks about him is coming for them. This one man. And this is who they call a pastor. I say it one more time. Can you imagine if Suleman was the president of the country? What kind of a country we would have had? When some people say, pastor is not the problem of man. Look at that. But like I said, I don't blame him. I blame the corrupt system in Nigeria. The country that is, you know, I blame the uselessness of a country called Nigeria. Like I said, there's no sane society where Suleman can do what he's doing right now. Have you wondered why he has never arrested anybody and got anybody locked up in Western society? Because it doesn't work that way. The police are not your houseboys abroad. The court system are not your errand people. You know, this video has actually gone longer than I planned, but I want to say this for people that say, that try to discourage people from visiting Nigeria or whatever because of Suleman. There is no reason why any human being should be afraid to return to their own country because of one man in Auchi. Like I said, he's not even governor of a state. He's not even the president. People will now be afraid to return to Nigeria because of Suleman. That makes absolutely no sense. But something else I want to say is this. You know when they say many days for the thief, one day for the owner. It's been going on for a long time. And he's been getting away with it. So many things. We see it in the news. He arrested a YouTuber because he claimed he did miracle money. And the YouTuber questioned that so-called miracle. And he got that YouTuber arrested. This is what we're talking about, right? But I pray and I look forward to the day where we would have a good government. That Nigeria will be a society where the police are nobody's errand boys. A society where someday, I'm looking forward to someday when somebody will be in authority to say, you know what, Suleman, enough is enough. That's all it takes. This man is not even a politician. All it takes is one person to wake up one day and say, you know what, you have been in the news for the longest time. There is no reason why any Nigerian should be afraid of you. And that person will put a stop to it. That is my dream. Waiting for Suleman to change, I'm sorry, I don't see it. I'm not God, but anybody can change. But I have seen the history and the things that this man has been accused of. And all the things we've seen on the news. I look at him, I'm sorry. I don't see a change. The only thing that I see happening is somebody coming into a position where the person can put their foot down and say, you know what, Suleman, enough of your BS. I'm looking forward to that day when such a person will be in power and the person can say to Suleman, enough is enough. Stop it. That is what I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping and praying that that day comes. Because until that happens, Suleman can continue to use the police as his errand boys. He can continue to do everything because he's collecting tithe and offering. So he has all this excess money that he can use to do whatever he wants to achieve. I'll say this one more time, guys. Imagine if Suleman was the president of the country. Anyways, I'm going to leave this video here. As always, whatever your opinions are, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.